So today I'm going to be shooting another short cinematic film using the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro, and I have a cyclist friend who's going to be cycling around the neighborhood with his wife, and I brought together my Blackmagic 6K cinema camera. The reason is because I want to do a comparison. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to be shooting the same scene using both my cinema camera and the smartphone, and I'm going to be putting the video one after another, and let's see if we can notice any difference and also if you can guess which one is which. So let's do it. Alright, so what do you guys think? Which one is which? To me, the difference is not so obvious. But for you guys who are a professional cinematographer, you might know which one is which. You might know the difference. But I can say 90% of the viewers won't notice the difference, won't know which one is which, because the difference is really not obvious. Alright, so the answer is camera A is actually the smartphone, and camera B is the cinema camera. No, wait. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Camera A is actually the cinema camera and camera B is the smartphone. Is it? Yeah. So camera A is the cinema camera and camera B is the smartphone. So now even if I say the other way around, you might believe me because the difference is really not much. So from this comparison, it really shows that smartphone technology is really catching up to be at par with a mirrorless camera or even a cinema camera. Alright, so for the smartphone, I was using the Xiaomi Mi 10T Pro that can shoot all the way to 8K resolution. But for this video, I shot it only in 4K because I need the 60p so that I can do the slow motion thing. And honestly, I started to like filming in 8K. You might be watching this in 4K or even in Full HD, which is the 1080p. But don't get me wrong, I like filming in 8K but still outputting it in 4K. By filming in 8K and outputting it into 4K can give me a lot of advantages, such as I can do reframing my shots, for example, without losing a single pixel before outputting it into 4K. Right, so let's jump into the disadvantages filming with smartphone. To me, it's like very obvious. Smartphone has a very small sensor, so having high megapixels such as 8K resolution. So imagine putting 8K resolution into such a small sensor, which means you have very small pixels. So having a very small pixels, which means smartphone is really bad at filming in low light condition. Another thing, to my eyes, the bokeh is not as beautiful compared to say 85 or 135mm Canon lens, for example, because the bokeh is not mechanical. The bokeh is software driven, it's artificial, but I think it's still good enough. And another thing which is very important, at least to me, is that you won't get those high dynamic range using a smartphone, which means you won't get details on both highlights and shadow at the same time. But if you ask me if I would like to take only smartphone to do some serious travel documentary work, for example, I think I would say, yeah, I'll do it. Because at the end of the day, what makes your shot looks really beautiful or artistic depend heavily on post-production, where the magic happens during the color grading or the editing that makes it different from the rest. Those shots you see from documentaries like Nat Geo or the BBC are usually shot in RAW or even in log mode, which look really flat, and they are all color graded during the post-production. Anyway, to cut the story short, I'm actually really happy with the result, because I'm always hoping that one day smartphone can actually replace cinema cameras. Because just imagine having a powerful cinema camera just inside your pocket, which can also be used to make calls, to send WhatsApp messages, or even to use Google Maps. And as for me, because I did a lot of travel out documentaries before, just imagine taking your cinema camera inside a crowded bus in India, or in a wet market in China, or even in animal market in Kyrgyzstan, for example. You're really gonna be the center of attraction, and people really gonna look at you, and you won't get those artistic or natural shots. But just imagine if you can take your smartphone and start filming, nobody will actually look at you, and this is where you will get those beautiful and natural shots. Alright, so that's all for today's video. I hope you guys really enjoyed watching this. And since it's still pandemic, I can't travel anywhere to make more travel videos. I think I will make more tutorials on color grading and editing in DaVinci Resolve especially, and probably some tutorials even on After Effects. So stay tuned on that, and may peace be to all of you.